Hello, welcome back to the third in the series of grip notes, your pathway to gripping on film and television projects. In the last series we talked about, or segment, we talked about the different job positions that are available, so hopefully you've seen this and you know what those are. The next thing you might want to get involved in is understanding all the workings on the set. If you haven't been on a film set or you don't know how it works whatsoever, it's a very good book to buy. It's by a friend of mine named Harry Box. And if you are a film student, you probably already have this book. And it's a basic outline to everything you need to know about on-set and etiquette. And so if you don't have this or you don't know this information, I'd recommend this book. If you want to get more into just specifically grip oriented conversations, this is a better book for going deeper. Mike Uva's book is, he's got this one, and he's got an entire series actually of books just about grip work that he's kept up to date over the years as the industry has changed, so I recommend those. You also should get some sort of a book on knots. If you've been sailing any time in your life, or you've been Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you're going to know a couple of knots. Good to know knots anyway. The main thing you need to know when you tie a knot is what percentage of the rope strength does it still maintain once it has a knot in it, and can that knot in fact come apart once it's had a load on it. So there's about 5 knots you really need to know, but getting a knot book and playing around with rope is a good idea. We use quite a bit of rope in our business, and there's certain knots that everyone basically uses, which, like I said, I'll do that in another segment. I would buy, first off, a multi-tool if you don't have one. And if you're going to be a grip, you probably already do have one. But just the fact that this has scissors, 2 kinds of knives, different kinds of bits for driving in screws, and of course, there's a can opener. That's another story. But a multi-tool, I would have one of those. There's a lot of different makes and models. Find one that you think suits you. I, in particular, really like the saw function on mine and the scissors. That's the best part of what I think. It's also got a file. I've used that. But and of course the pliers. I use those every day. So have some sort of a multi-tool. That's a good investment. A crescent wrench, I would recommend definitely getting at least a 10-inch, no less than an 8-inch crescent wrench, because you're going to run into situations where you have to tighten things down for the safety of everyone, and so some sort of crescent wrench. Another thing to look at here is a flat wrench. There's some new ones coming out. I have an older model of this one, and it's very useful to have something that will go on any size American or metric nut or bolt. A very sharp knife is good to have. This is the kind I use, and the red button up there allows me to flip blades at a moment's notice, because sometimes the sharpest knife is the best one to have when you're cutting gels or walls or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So you have to have some sort of a very sharp knife, and the multi-tool, unless you're a good sharpener of knives, doesn't always cut it, so kind of punny. A 4-in-1 screwdriver outside of the multi-tool. Sometimes you need something a little bit longer to get in there. We use mostly Phillips head stuff with what we do, and Phillips head number 2 is the most common for what we do, because we use drywall screws for most of our stuff. But good to have one of these, or maybe a little stubby that has a ratchet on it or something like that, so that you have a way to drive in screws quickly on your person. Hammers, we used to use them all the time, but less and less now. Construction will nail the set walls into the floor because screws tend to break, and so they use nails. A lot of times I use my hammer as a shovel, quite honestly. But if you want to carry a nice claw hammer, definitely do. A framing hammer is good to have because it has the magnet, which you can put the double heads on and slam them right in. And if you've already been in carpentry, then carrying a hammer is a good idea. I don't think that everyone on the crew should carry a hammer, because they just get in the way for the most part, but if one guy on the crew is carrying one, they come in handy. So somebody should be carrying a hammer. Tape measure, don't do anything less than 25 feet. It doesn't really serve any purpose. Most of the things you need to measure are going to be really short or really long, and so 25 to 30 is probably what you'll need on a day-to-day basis. Dolly grips usually carry one of these. I always have a tape measure on me because I need to know pretty much exactly what I need in the length and width of whatever we're doing, so I have one with me at all times. Once again, another thing a dolly grip would use a lot, but it's handy to have on set as well when you're trying to get a camera in a place. If you're on a hi-hat, for instance, having one of these, or if you're helping art department straighten a picture, or the DP needs to straighten something to camera, or straighten the camera, doesn't hurt to have a level. These aren't as useful, but they're handy. If you're just doing mostly hi-hat work out in the desert or something, then it might be good to have one of these, and they don't take up a lot of room. So if you're a dolly grip, it's good to have one of these on you. Flashlights, I highly recommend getting an LED model with a double A or a triple A battery as the battery. They're bright, they're light, they're small, so if you're going to buy a flashlight, buy something that takes one of those batteries, and LEDs, easy nowadays. You could get one of these hats, it looks really stylish. You're going to be working in the dark, so you got to have a flashlight anyway. A lot of times you'll want one that this allows both your hands to stay free, so a little bit of a novelty. Another model of that would be this that you can put on your head, little headband. You can get these at REI or online. Once again, try and stay with the triple or double A so you can get batteries. Production will provide batteries when you're working at night. If you want to get fancy, or if you already have one, carry a little small screw gun. It just makes things go a lot faster. Most of the time the key grip's going to have a couple of big ones to really do the big jobs, but once in a while it's nice just to have one of these if you're going to do a quick plate somewhere. So not necessary, but I've always appreciated having one guy on the crew that had one of these. And matter of fact, if we don't have anybody that has one of these and there's somebody that likes to carry a lot of stuff, once in a while I'll get production to buy one and give it to somebody as a gift for carrying it around. Some sort of a socket set is good to have. I wouldn't carry it on your belt, but you can put it in your weather bag. That's something else we'll discuss. It's a good idea to have a bag that has shorts and sweaters and rain gear, because depending on what time of year and where you are, things could change throughout the day to night that you're going to be working. But I keep one of these in my weather bag just so that I have a variety of things that I can draw from in case somebody needs a socket set. The standard socket sizes that we use are 9/16 for nuts and bolts, because that's the camera industry standard for a 3/8 bolt and nut. They use a lot of 3/8. So 9/16 is a very common size that we use, and 3/16 Allen wrench is also very universal in our business, because that's the speed rail fitting size. And now you can buy little tiny wrenches that have a 9/16 possibility on one end. You can get them in a kit. I think I got mine at Lowe's. But it has I carry this very small one that has a 3/16 on one end and a 9/16 on the other. And when you're rigging cars or anything like that, that's all you're going to really need for the day. So that and your multi-tool, and you're on your way. This would be something you might see a construction guy wearing. You can buy vests, you can buy belts, you can buy all this stuff. It's a little bit of overkill. I mean, if you carry around this much stuff every day, you're going to throw out your back and you won't be a grip too long. So as you start working, you'll realize what you like to carry and how you want to carry it. If you're just starting out, this is a really nice thing to have. It's an Emt Pouch for medical emergency type guys. Ambulance people usually have something like this, and it will carry the standard package of what you need without weighing you down completely. So you can get these on eBay, or you can get these kinds of pouches if you go down to one of the home build stores, Lowe's or Home Depot. Zippers and flaps are good to have so that your tools don't fall out, get rained on, get dirty. So it's personal preference. I mean, you can buy this kind of belt from Set Gear, and they're made for what we do, which is great. Most of the guys that have these will then get a set of suspenders because it helps take the weight into different places so you don't just carry everything on your hips, because that'll hurt you after a while. So you got to come down to a personal preference on that. So a lot of people use clothespins. That's what we were using when I got into this business. I found binder clips to be a lot more useful and reusable and environmentally friendly. Sometimes when you put them on lights, they get a little hot, so electricians aren't as fond of them. They'll still use clothespins. We use mostly the middle size and the bigger size, not the small size too often. But production should be providing these. But if you run into a situation where you're doing a student film or something, you might want to see if production will buy some binder clips. Another thing production usually provides would be Sharpies. It's good to have a black one and a silver one for most of the stuff we do. And remember, they're permanent markers, so be careful what you write down, because it's going to be like that forever. So you could use your Sharpie right away to put your name and phone number on all the tools you just bought, because when they walk away, they have a better chance of coming back if you've got them labeled with your name and your phone number. Or even better, see if someone's got an engraver. Tools don't often walk off, but if they don't have anybody's name on it, then all you need to buy is an engraver. So paper tape, once again, supplied by the production. You don't have to use lots of it. My guys get very unhappy with me when I'm like, just give me 3 inches. You don't need to. But anyway, it's fairly expensive, but we use it all the time, and it does most jobs well. I also recommend, if you can, carry a roll of 1-inch gaffer's tape, once again supplied by production. That way you have black, you got white, you can label things in whatever direction. But most guys just carry the black paper. I like to carry both. Headsets, you can buy them around town for like 85 bucks. Production will provide you, if they provide walkie-talkies, they should have headsets for you. They don't want your walkie-talkie making noise all over the set. But it gets really hard to wear the ones they provide, because they're like the Welcome to Burger King headsets that go over your head and get caught on stuff. So you can find these now for 30 bucks. There are people around that'll sell you the $30 models. And the $30 ones work every bit as good as the ones that are 85 bucks. And if you get them caught in a tree while you're out in the bushes, you're going to wreck them anyway. So, spend less than more. And I wish production would provide these kinds for all of us, because the other kind just get annoying after a while. But I've done shows where I wore the Welcome to Burger King ones, and they work fine. But so another option. That'll be all that we're going to talk about on this being segment 3 of Grip Notes. And I hope you join me for more comprehensive looks at other grip opportunities down the road. But now you have a place to start. Definitely look into the books, look stuff up online. There's some good YouTube videos about what grips do and that type of thing. But if you're this far along, you're probably coming with me to the end, and I hope it's helping you. Once again, if you ever need to get in contact with me, my email there is at the bottom of the screen, infinitygrips@gmail.com. And if you have questions, or if you have suggestions as to what you might want me to talk about, or maybe people you might want me to interview, or anything that might help you to get where you're going in the glorious world of grip, I look forward to your comments and your letters, and we'll see you again here on Grip Notes. Thanks for joining me.